Today's topic, free range versus strict parenting. I know you wanted to talk about spanking and different stuff like that.
Maryland parents are accused of child neglect after allowing their two kids to walk home alone from a park about a mile away.
What do you think about that? Letting your kids walk home from a park a mile away. Would you let your kid?
No. It depends how old they are. But everything that's going on right now, and I know my kids are going to look cute, so I'm not letting them walk away.
Really?
Well, it depends where I'm at. It doesn't even depend where I'm at. I'm not putting my guards down. It depends how old they are. It really depends how old they are. Like, I'm not kid. What do we mean kids?
What do you mean?
To me, 15 is still a kid. It's teen, but 12 is still a kid. 9 is a kid.
Okay, well,
5 is a kid. How old was the kids?
They were like 7 and 8.
Nah. You got to look at your kid and you have to say, is my kid dumb? Is my kid the kind of kid going to be like, ooh, candies?
When you hear the term free-range parent, what do you think of?
It's a luxury to be a free-range parent because there is a certain privilege that goes with that.
Being a strict parent, I think, first of all, I imagine stress. Should be a really fun time of your life. Why follow all these rules when you want to enjoy your kids?
She looks like a free-range parent, that's for sure. She's borderline a hippie, that's
All right,
for sure.
Here we go. We got info being dropped by Granola Jenny. Yo, this girl looks like she grows her own oatmeal.
Yeah, that's for sure. Like Christina looked like, we about to go in the store. Don't look at nothing. Don't touch nothing. Don't ask me for nothing. We go in there. I buy the things. I go back home. If you ask me for something.
I'm Jody, and I'm the CEO of the Madden House, and I have 8 children, and I'm from LA.
She popping out kids like she's trying to make up for all white people. That's a lot of kids, boo-boo. 8, God bless you.
I founded the Free Range Kids movement. I let my 9-year-old ride the subway in New York City by himself. I wrote a column, and 2 days later I was on the Today Show, MSNBC, Fox News, and NPR defending my parenting style. And I started Free Range Kids that weekend as a blog to say, look, I believe in safety. I just don't think that we have to, have a security detail every time we let our kids out of the house.
So can I have my free-range parents on the left and my strict parents on the right?
See you later, free-range parents.
Children should be trusted to make their own decisions.
You walking forward on this one, or are you going to stay behind?
It depends for what. I mean, it's not black and white. You know what I mean? People are trying to make this.
It's black. It's white. Yeah. It's black. It's white. Yeah, that song was a good song. Sorry.
It's all good.
Michael Jackson was black and white.
Yeah, he was black and white. So technically, Michael Jackson was great. It's in the me, though. Black and white. Michael Jackson. Like, would I walk? It depends for what. Like, in this sentence, you're not giving me enough information for me to be able to, am I walking or not? Like, okay, on what? I'm going to be the annoying dude. If I get on these, I'm going to go, yeah, but you need to be more specific. On what? All their decisions?
T'as raison.
So of course children should make their own decisions. I mean, we're trying to raise them.
So if you're trying to raise them,
Granola Jenny, I can tell is going to be the most detestable one on this panel.
We're raising them you're raising them
To be responsible adults. If they don't make decisions, they'll never learn.
When my child is possibly going to make a bad decision, what I want to do is not tell him it's a bad decision. I think that's the wrong thing to do because then ultimately he's probably going to reject that anyway.
Also, it depends on what we're talking about decisions about. Like if it's bedtime and you want your kids to be in bed at 8 o'clock, I think that is up to you.
In bed at 8
Lenore is the more, okay. Nguyen is going to be the guy that's going to be I'm just trying to please everybody and I'm not really saying much, but yeah. Jen, we already know. I think Lenore is going to be the more
bounced.
I think so.
All right.
But I remember a time my son called me, he was 10 at the time, and he said, Mom, can I have another piece of banana bread? And I thought, I felt bad because, of course, that's a very simple decision. They expected that I was the one to decide almost everything about what they were eating and doing, and I felt like there was something wrong. And that actually started me reevaluating things. And can they climb the tree? Just let them climb the tree.
And what's the worst that can happen? They break an arm?
Right, yeah.
Oh, well.
What's the worst that could happen if they jumped off a tree? Break an arm? It's easy for you to say that about the broken arm, you know? If you got health care, right? If you have that privilege financially to be able to afford the treatment for your child, great. Imagine for poor families who, when a kid breaks his arm, they got to go broke, right? So, you know, earlier when the black girl talked about privilege, I didn't know what she meant, but I'm just starting to see it right now. It's like, yeah, you can say all this stuff about, yeah, do whatever you want. The consequences are no, sometimes they have huge financial repercussions for the family. I know because I broke my arm when I was a kid. Thankfully, at the time, I was living in Canada, so treatment was mad cheap. But if I was living in the States, my mom would have been like, nigga, you crippled now.
While we're in the hospital, let me whoop your next arm.
Yeah.
Well, for my kid specifically, she can go outside and play after school, and she can draw, and she can do whatever. But there is a very healthy boundary. Like, we don't have the type of health care that most people have. So, like, no, you can't climb the tree.
No, you can't go up there and break your arm because I'm going to be in the hospital, then I'm going to lose some time at work, then I'm going to have to do extra work. No, go Christian. Probably that Jen does her own plasters herself out of kale and broccoli sticks.
If it's like, oh, I don't want to play violin anymore, but it's like, you're not allowed to quit things that you start, because even as an adult, you become a flaky adult.
Well, you see so many parents nowadays who just like bend to every whim of their child. Children should be trusted to make their own decisions when it is wise for them to make their own decisions. You know, I'm not going to let my 5-year-old decide that he's not going to brush his teeth anymore, because he does. You know, as the child grows and as you as a parent train that child, then more freedom should be granted to make their own decisions.
But I don't think we should train our children. I feel like you train a dog and not a kid.
I think train is a good word.
I don't want a trained child.
Okay, well, I do.
You know what this made me think of?
I have cancer.
You know what?
I don't want to train that child.
You know what it made me think of? It made me think of, we don't say mankind, we say people kind. You know what he meant.
You're just playing on words right now. You're an adult. You're going to have training. You're going to attend a job. They're going to give you training. It's not training. It's just, you know, more like information. You really crucial information that you need to proceed into this job. It's called training.
Do you know what training is? Education. That's all.
Yeah, I'm not saying it has to be like me.
Do you think you need to train them to be respectful, or do you think that you guide them in a way to learn to be respectful because of the decisions they've chosen?
Both.
That's a training. That's a mother training. You just don't like the word because you're triggered.
You guide, you train them. It's all the same thing. These strict parents don't seem that strict.
No, but they're not strict.
They seem very reasonable.
The strict ones are the balanced one. The free range one, by your guy, yeah. They do what they want. That's the thing. Is I think being strict is actually a balance of, yes, you're going to be able to gradually make decisions. That's why when you have a permit, you learn how to drive, you first have a learner's permit, first you take some classes, and eventually you have more and more responsibilities. She makes me mad, man.
Bro, just eat a granola bar.
Don't really follow rules. Even if it's a theory of free-range parenting per se, if you're following those free-range parenting rules, then you become strict. And I don't think that there should be rules. It should be whatever the day brings.
Tabarnak, Jen. You embody everybody that I've encountered at the restaurant or the grocery store that let their kid do whatever the they want. Now I'm at the airport waiting for my plane that's been delayed. It's not your kid's fault, but the fact that your kid is jumping and screaming next to me and you're in front and you're not doing really gets to me, because there are no rules. But yes, there are rules. And when that kid that never learned how to play with rules is going to encounter real rules, it's going to be a shock. And tell you what, I can't let my black kid, not have rules. I can't.
Jordan Peterson said something really interesting. He said, don't raise a child that other people are going to hate.
Don't raise a jackass.
He's free-spirited. No, he's messy.
Sloppy as fuck.
He's artistic. No, he's vandalizing. He's high energy. No, he's abusing their kids. Rein your fucking child in.
Kids deserve privacy.
Maybe. Wait, I don't know.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, wait,
There we go. Oh, wait, we have a straggler.
Even though they're not adults, they're still people, and they need time to either hear their thoughts or process things, or just they need a sense of comfort in solitude and things that are sacred to them.
In our household, we live by this kind of thought. Live your life in such a way that if everyone could see what you're doing in private, that you wouldn't be ashamed.
I just peed that out.
That was hypocritical. You're a grown-ass woman. You have kids. You did some things that felt good, but you're not really too proud of.
Yeah. You did the grown-up. You did your taxes. You and your husband.
You balance numbers.
You balanced your budget.
He made a deposit.
God bless you, but I ain't masturbating in front of my siblings. It's not gonna happen.
I'm not ashamed.
That was crazy talk to me.
Ashamed. So my kids also look through my phone. Privacy is not something a child should be entitled to have. Do we give our kids quiet downtime? Yes. Am I looking through all their stuff? No.
I actually agree with the definition of downtime and privacy. At my house, there's no privacy because you don't pay any bills. She also trusts me, and I've wanted to make a relationship to where she trusts me that even if she came to tell me, like, there's no yell, I don't yell and I don't scream and I don't do any things like that. We're very open, but there is no privacy.
So I just wanted to put in a plea, though, for some privacy. You know, I go around and I talk about free-range kids, and sometimes what I ask the audience is to tell me when something did go wrong. And I asked them, did you tell your parents? What do you think they said? No. Why do you think they said it?
Fear.
Fear of what?
Being in trouble,
You think it's trouble. They said they didn't want their freedom taken away.
I think it's important, though, that we hold our children accountable, because in the world, there are plenty of adults who are not held accountable, who've never been held accountable, and they just do things that are terrible.
But most of childhood is little things, and you don't have to be there for everyone, because that's when kids start realizing, I can handle this.
Parents should be parents and not friends.
Ooh. I'm the parent and you're the child, because I don't want you to lose respect for me. Like, I'm not gonna go clubbing with my daughter. Like, there's just some things that I'm just not gonna do, that I do with my friends, that I'm not gonna do with my kid.
I agree that I'm their mom first, but I'm also their friend. I'm also someone that they trust and admire, and they come to, and I listen to them and I give them my opinions, and we have forged a friendship, but it's not without my position as the authority in their life.
Okay, listen. If you're my boss, you're not my friend. If at any point you could tell me what to do and I have to follow your orders, we're not equals. I am below you. There's a reason why friendships between subordinates and their superiors is always very touchy, because at any time you can pull rank on me. So how am I supposed to see you as my equal? You're not. You're not friends with your kids. At least not until they're adults.
You can be friends with your kids if you want to, but I know damn well I'm not going to be friends with mine. I'm your father, but it doesn't mean that you cannot come to me as a father. I'm going to give you insight on, like, as a father. I have a father. I didn't want him to be my best friend. Well, doesn't mean that we're not going to be good. Doesn't mean I'm not going to laugh with you and we're not going to have fun. You know, it's not that. That's not what it means. It just means that I'm the dad. That's the hierarchy point. That's the level.
In my mind, once my kids are 18, or let's just say moved out of the house, they are an adult. And at that point, I want to stop parenting. If I haven't parented enough by the time they're 18, then that was my chance. I don't want to be a parent after 18.
This is gonna step back a bit, because wow, granola Jen is some fucked up shit. Wow, Jen has kids but doesn't want to do a lot of stuff. I don't want to parent. I don't want to train. I don't want to be a parent past 18. I don't want to, wow, you just had kids to have kids, but you're not taking none of these responsibilities. I don't want to make lunch.
And when it comes to clubbing, I hope that when my kid is old and grown up and they're going out for a beer at a bar or whatever they're doing, of course I want to come with them.
Can you imagine? They'd be like, Juvenile's Back That Ass Up comes on.
Hey, mommy. Hey. And then she's just twerking and shit. And she's like, yeah. Oh, mom, go get him. He look cute. You know, hi.
Spanking your child is an acceptable form of punishment.
What are your thoughts? Spanking is an acceptable form of punishment.
Sure. Spanking ain't shit.
Okay.
Yeah, this is not. Do you think that they're going to have memories of these times being spanked and that it will be
Sure, and I think they'll be thankful for it. I would do, because I
would be lying if I said I never have spanked my child. Of course but I don't feel good about it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you feel good or not. You're judging people and things that you did. But because you think it's good and you feel good about it, you're bad. You're worse than me. No, you're as bad. You did that. You resort to that. So you're as bad.
Don't you want to raise your child to not want to do things because they feel as if they'll be a better person, not because they're going to be punished for it?
Yeah, both. See, this is hard for me to understand because I come from a culture where everyone, like all my friends have loving parents that spanked them as kids. And now they've grown up to be great well-functional adults who respect their parents and are glad their parents spanked them.
I'm not going to dog someone that spanks their kids. I'm not going to be like, you shouldn't spank that's you, do you. You know what I mean? I don't want to necessarily discipline my kids the same way, and outside, I am thankful that my parents did it sometimes, because sometimes I fucked up, so I understand this point.
Generally, spanking is a bad form of parenting. Science is pretty conclusive on this. It normally, it's a very strong correlation with kids in violent behavior. There's a higher likelihood of it. There's a higher likelihood of that child, social anxiety, I don't think it was depression, but I definitely think in terms of violent tendencies, much more likely. And to me, it's been confirmed by sociologists that spanking does raise those. And I'm not surprised. I think if you see somebody resolve an issue through physical actions, then you as a child internalize that as a valid way to deal with certain problems. And so it becomes a perpetual cycle. Because the way you see your parents, because you heard him say before, is that it's the easiest, most effective way to solve a problem. It's effective and it's the easiest way for you. It's not necessarily what's in the best interest of the child, because you're telling that child that the solution to their mistake is physical action. And so what ends up happening is that when they encounter a problem, their response to it is more likely to be physical because of that's what they've learned from you.
Yep.
It's why people who grew up in crime areas tend to replicate crime themselves. I'm not saying it's going to be the case. I'm saying it's far more likely. So whether his 5 kids are fine or not, that remains to be seen, and that's irrelevant. Just because their 5 kids are doesn't mean that it's a good way to parent other children. So you can parent your kids however you want. I'm not here to tell you. I'm just telling you what the facts are, and then everyone has to make their own decisions after that. But
you gonna spank your kids?
No, I'm not, because my mom didn't need to spank me. And I felt like the way she parented me in compared to all the other strict kids around me was way better. And she parented me differently because my older siblings were parented very strictly. Just first kids, they always try to.
Yeah.
And it didn't work out so well. And so when I came along, it was kind of like, and I was given a lot of space to make mistakes. And I think once I was given that space to make mistakes, my mom just said, be responsible. And I think as a young man, we all want responsibility. We want to feel like we're contributing, like we're part of the process. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so when you're given that responsibility and people really respect you with it, then you don't want to let them down. You know what I'm saying? Because that's like, I'll give you an example. In the Army, I've told you the story already, but when they would punish us, you can't hit nobody in the military. And so what they would do is they would punish everyone else around you for your mistakes so that you felt responsible and ashamed of the fact that you let the others down. And so once you seen that, you felt like garbage. And so you would improve the way you behaved in order to make sure you didn't let the people around you down. And I think that's an effective way. It teaches you that your actions don't just have repercussions on yourself, but the people around you. And I just felt like all those different ways that I saw myself being shaped that didn't require violence made me realize you can make someone realize the impact of their actions without hitting them. I just think hitting them is effective because it instantly settles the situation.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to take the time to explain to them. You don't have to take the time to reach that child and actually get to explain the situation to them in a way that they can understand.
Yeah, absolutely.
You hit them and they, ow, and they don't do it anymore. You know. What?
It's not necessarily true that they're not going to do it.
Oh, no. I know plenty of kids who were spanked and hit, and they became some of the worst people I know.
Exactly. So it doesn't mean that it's going to be that effective, actually.
No.
Okay, I'm just gonna say my view. So I don't spank my child, one, because of chattel slavery and Jim Crow. I'm a black person and I live in a world where black people are beaten all the time. I have a mother who spanked me. I'm not glad that I was spanked. I respect her, but I'm not happy about that. Also the same thing with the people who are like, I was spanked, I came out great. They usually have like anger issues, they're violent, they whip their own kids, they probably need therapy.
I like Christian. Christian's my girl. Christian's my girl. She knows what the hell.
She's not holding back, no punches.
No, but she don't need to hold back. Go Christian. Go girl. Live your life.
Let's hit it.
I sometimes fear I am raising my children the wrong way.
They should all go for it. Every single one of them. If you don't raise a child and don't think to yourself, maybe I'm doing this wrong at any point, to me that means you lack self-awareness or that your ego's involved.
And the only person I think that should stay back is Christian.
I think part of parenting is always worrying. I mean, as hard as I try to do the right things, you know, there's always doubts in your mind that you've done something wrong.
I love to tell parents, especially new ones, that we're all winging it. We're making mistakes every day, but the good thing about it is that our kids still love us. They still look at us like mommy and their
Or
eyes.
friend. Right. Club buddy. Right.
They're clowning. Even free range Lenore's clowning Jen. Yeah. Club buddies, friends, right?
She's not playing games, man. Get your petty on, girl.
Oh, that's good. I ain't mad at it.
So like parenting is literally just like one huge ass experiment.
That's a nice expression.
You know,
parenting is one huge ass experiment. Right. People think that I have the answer because I wrote Free Range Kids and I run this Let Grow, and all I can say is that believing in your kids, you know, believing in them, whether you give them a timeout or you're spanking them, believing that your kids have this capacity for being a decent human being and they're going to make mistakes, they're going to be okay. That's what kids want.
It's really funny how the strict parents were actually the ones that were most balanced. And one of the free range, Leonard, was one that was balanced too, but she was writing it. So to each their own. Everybody raising kids, but the free range, I'm not with the free range thing. I think I consider myself as a strict parent according to their standards, but it's really not always black or white. It's really a gray area. You know, use common sense. The thing is, no parents really know what they're doing. That's pretty much it. That's it for today. Tell us what you think. Follow us on a different platform if you want more content. Don't forget to go on the Patreon and check that out. We have a bunch of different things that we're gonna put out. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm Preach, because apparently you messes up. I was down. See you another time. Mira como toda